All right, it's 1 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started because we do have a lot to share with you guys. Again, if you have not done so, you will want to grab this, the bit.ly and bookmark this presentation. Even if you don't have your Klein ISD email and all that kind of stuff yet, it is open for anybody to access. Because you're going to need the links and stuff that are in this presentation for later. So just to get started, we're going to do a quick poll because I know that a lot of you are, in limbo. Some have access, some don't. So I just kind of want to get a temperature check of where we are and who can log in and how many we have that can't. So looks like lots of people can log in. That's awesome.
It's really good. Good numbers.
I know it doesn't help like the 4 of you that can't. Okay, good. Well, that gives me a good idea of where we are. So it looks like the majority of you can log in, which is great. If you can't log in yet, no worries. You will soon, I promise. I know that that's frustrating having to wait for all that, but you will at least have all of this information and you'll see it so that when you do have access, you can jump in and get going. Okay. Depending on where you are with your login and all that kind of stuff, it says it's an interactive lesson webinar. Really, that just means we're here to answer questions. So you don't have to just sit there in silent. If you've got questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask, throw it in the chat and ask. We're here to answer whatever we can possibly answer for you today. This session is going to focus on understanding and utilizing our digital resources in the district. My name is Kim Sharp, and I am currently the digital learning specialist at Caleb Intermediate. This is my 20th year in the district. I taught freshman English at Klein Forest for 10 years. And then I was the instructional media coordinator at our Vistas program for 6 years. And now I'm on my 4th year over here at Caleb. And today I also have with me Stacy Alexander. If Stacy, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello, I am Stacy, and I am serving as the digital learning specialist. I'm actually starting my 14th year here in the district in this role. We've actually had a couple of different names in this role over time, but I started at Klein Forest. I saw someone went to Klein Forest, Chelsea did, I saw in the chat. Kim and I were actually great work partners back in the day when she was a teacher and I served in this role there and was there for 5 years. Then I moved to Krimmel for 5 years and now I'm on my 4th year at Hophius. I also service Mahaffey Elementary, so we all have either a high school or an intermediate school in this role, and then also an elementary that we cover. So even though we may not be assigned to you, feel free to reach out to either one of us at any point during the year. We'd be happy to help any way that we can. And welcome to the Klein family. We're happy that you're here.
Absolutely. Yes, I forgot to mention, I also serve Middlestat. So if any of you are from Middlestat, I'm your person.
That is true. One last thing that I didn't say is Kim mentioned very informal, but I'm kind of manning the chat and admitting people to the class as they come in a little bit late. So if you do have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat if you don't want to kind of call out in the middle of the session, and I'll be in the background kind of running that for her. So take it away, Kim.
Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to start off. I'm sure you have already seen this, but if not, this is our Klein vision. This is what we focus. Everything that we do revolves around our purpose and our promise. And so we like to just point out that everything that I do today is going to be geared toward accomplishing our vision, that every student will enter with a promise and exit with a purpose. So today we're going to give you an overview of all of the digital resources that we have in the district, where to find those, how to get help on those, and resources that'll help connect with our high quality teaching document. If you haven't heard of the HQT, as we lovingly call it here, the HQT, the high quality teaching document, that's what guides all of our teachers' work. And so we have strategically planned some resources geared right toward that. So we have a lot of resources in Klein that the district has paid for us. Some of them are paid for just for specific campuses or grades or curriculums. And then we also have a whole bunch of free ones that we like to use. And so we're going to kind of break those down for you so that you'll know what's available for you and your students. Okay, so the majority of our time are going to be on these 4 places. These 4 places, the dashboard, our website, and these 2 Schoology groups are where the majority of our information lives. The first one we're going to talk about is the dashboard, and I'm guessing that a lot of you have probably already logged on to the dashboard if you've already been able to get into all of your information. But if you haven't yet, the dashboard is our landing spot. Klein is a single sign-on district, which is awesome, which means once you log into your dashboard, everything else is automatically logged in for you. So you don't have to worry about remembering 1,000 different passwords. We're going to ask that you use your dashboard for your landing spot to access all of our resources. I know a lot of people like to bookmark and use their bookmarks to get to places. However, if we go through the dashboard, we ensure 2 things. We ensure 1, that your logon is secure and correct. And 2, that we are collecting all the correct analytics. And we'll talk about that later. But we purchase resources based on their usage. And if people aren't clicking on it and using it, that the district will say, oh, we're not using that, we're not going to pay for it anymore. And the way to gather that data is through the dashboard. So we're going to ask you and your students, it's going to be important for you to remind your students to use their dashboard to get to all of their information. The dashboard is personal. You can personalize it. So your dashboard's going to look different than mine. And anything that's on the dashboard with this little key means it's locked. The district has pushed that out, and that is what's available for every single person in the district. The ones without the key are ones that you can put on yourself and personalize that is geared toward you. The nice thing about this also is that teachers can personalize the dashboard for their students and push out resources to your students that you will use often. And you'll get more in-depth training on the dashboard on your home campuses. But we did want to point out that this is going to be a great tool for you to use to get to most of our resources.
Can I interject 1 moment? Just a reminder, you also are going to want to send your students to the dashboard as well. It's important that not only our employees use it, but our students as well. We've had cases where teachers or students will just go out and Google, the Schoology website and then try to log in there. But it might be Schoology for, a district in California. Or I had a student trying to get to Skyward last year with her grades, and she was actually accessing the Spring Branch portal for Skyward grades. So always make sure you and your students are going through the dashboard and not like just going to search for some random portal that may be available for other districts.
And I am seeing questions in the chat about accessing Schoology and whatnot. If you go through the dashboard and you click on Schoology and it's still not working, it says access denied. That just means you are not completely hooked up to everything yet. It is a process, and Schoology and Skyward are the 2 last big pieces to be plugged in. So just because you can get to the dashboard right now doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have access to everything else. So give it a couple of days to let the system work itself out and get everything connected for you. Okay, so the next place I want to point out is our Klein Digital Learning website. Our digital learning team maintains this website, And you can see right here the entire team. So we have our instructional officer, we have 3 program coordinators, and then this is all the digital learning specialists. So this is what Cindy and Stacy and I are members of. And you can see that there's one assigned to every campus. So this is a great place to go if you are working and you have questions about resources or just questions in general and you don't know who to reach out to. You can go here and find your school and email this person, because this is your digital learning specialist that's assigned to your campus. And then on this website, we have courses that are on demand. So you can come in here and you can learn on your own at any time. Some of our bigger ones are the big ones that we use all the time: Schoology, Google, Nearpod, Skyward. The Schoology and Skyward are going to be 2 really big ones that you're going to want to learn right off the bat, because we use those heavily in our district. And the nice thing about these is if I click on the Schoology tab here, it's going to pull up a checklist, and it's going to give you a list of, okay, for level 1 Schoology users, for everybody just starting out, these are the things that you should be able to do. And then as you get more advanced, there's more stuff that you can learn how to do. But this is a great place to start, because it is assumed that all teachers will be at a level 1 in their Schoology. So if you come through this checklist and you're looking through here, oh, I know how to do that. Oh, you know what? I don't know how to organize or move my folders and materials. Everything on this checklist is hyperlinked to short instructional videos. These are very short, quick to the point. So if you're working in one of our platforms and you don't know how to do something, this is a great place to go and just watch a real quick how-to video that will get you information that you need. So those are some great on demand. And then we also house our summer courses, our online courses, and also this is where we will post any face-to-face sessions that will happen throughout the year. Okay, so that is our digital learning website. The next 2 are Schoology courses. Now I realize that some of you may not be able to get into Schoology just yet, and that's okay, but I do want to show you these. And I'm going to show you how to join them so that when you do have access, you can go back and get into these, because you will want to be a member of both of these Schoology groups. Okay, so the first one is our Guide to Digital Resources. When you join a group or a school, a course in Schoology, you'll use these tabs at the top. Both of these are actually groups. Your courses are going to be that's where you're going to find all of your classes that you teach, all the classes that you're a member of. If they have this little shield on it with a star, that means you're the teacher in that course. If you don't have a star, that means you're a student in that course. So those are going to be where you do the majority of your work. The groups are basically houses for information. And this one right here is the first one we're going to talk about, is this Klein ISD's Guide to Digital Resources. If you are not a member of this group yet, you can join it by coming up here to this My Groups tab. And then right here is a little button that says Join a Group. And when you click that, it'll ask for the access code. And I have put these access codes right here, so you can just enter those in and join these groups. If you do not have access to Schoology right now, and you start to try to do this later on, but you can't remember, there is the instructions that I just showed you on our website, that checklist. There are a quick couple of videos to show you how to join groups. Yes, Stacy, will you add the access code to the chat? So, and the link, the bit.ly link. Thank you. Okay, so in this group, I'm going to go to our Guide to Digital Resources. Right here is just the updates, and this is where they will post information about resources as they become available and that sort of thing. You can comment on them and ask questions, and people from the digital learning team can respond to your questions here. But the majority of the information is housed right here where it says resources. So if I click on the resources tab, in here, there is a folder for every single resource that the district pays for, that we have a subscription to. So up here, you just have some basic information, how to navigate it, that sort of thing. Right here, these are going to be extremely helpful. They're not so helpful right now because that's still last year's information. They're still working to update the resources for this year. But this is helpful because it actually is very specific to grade level. So if you teach 6th through 8th, you can click on this and it will show you the resources that are available for your specific age group, because we do have a lot of resources out there, and some of them we only pay for high school CTE classes to use. So this one will be able to tell you what is available to you that your students can use as well. So that is very useful. This tech tools for teachers. These are a bunch of resources that are not necessarily paid for. A lot of them are free, but it is a curated list from feedback that we have gotten from teachers over the years of resources that are very helpful. So if you're looking for instructional tools or assessment tools or efficiency and management tools, you can go in here and there are links to a whole bunch of different resources that you might find helpful for that. And then we get into the meat of it. So let's say you're teaching and you realize that Beanstack is available for your students, but you don't know the first thing about Beanstack. You can come to the folder and there is a what is it? So it tell you explain what Beanstack is, a folder for information on how to log in and how to use it, and then a folder for student resources. Some of these folders have a whole bunch of information in it. Some of them only have those 3. But all of them have resources and documents on how to use the resources. So this is great because you'll get into PLCs and you'll get into teams and you'll hear other teachers talking and be like, oh my gosh, I used, All in Learning in my class and it was awesome. And you're probably thinking, I have no idea what All in Learning is. This is a great place to go and learn about those resources and get information about those. Okay. I've been talking for a while. I want to take a break and see if I've got any questions that have risen since we started. So feel free to unmute yourself. Feel free to put it in the chat. But does anybody have any questions so far?
I have a question.
Okay.
About Schoology. I'm self-contained special ed, and last year I was in a different district, but putting our stuff from Unique and it wasn't compatible. Has that changed at all, or is it kind of still where it was like last year?
It's pretty much how it was last year. Unique, Unique won't release their stuff to embed into Schoology. So all of our people just use it straight out of Unique.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked about if they're, not a classroom teacher, do they need to know Schoology? And I had mentioned just as an answer, as employees in the district, we are all expected to know how to use and access Schoology because the district often sends content to our campuses that we need to complete throughout the school year, like dyslexia courses that teachers need to complete, or the back to school toolkit, which is now available for all employees to do. So you may not have to know how to use it as a teacher role and place content there for other users, but you do need to know how to use it as basically a participant, as a student, so you can access course content there that the district is requiring us to complete.
Yes. And we had questions in the last session about are we moving forward with Schoology? Is it, is that a COVID thing? we've been using a learning management system in Klein for about 10 years now. We had Schoology for 5 years, 4 or 5 years. So this is not a COVID thing for us. This wasn't out of a necessity. That we have built all of our curriculum around having a learning management system. So, yeah, it's not going anywhere. Anything else that we can answer? I saw somebody said, how do we leave a course if we joined accidentally? You'll have to reach out to the teacher of that course, because the teacher, the admin in that course can remove you, or you can put in a help ticket and ask the service desk ticket to remove you. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. However, it's usually faster if you can just email the teacher and ask them to remove you. Okay, so the last group is a big one. This one is not oh, this is nice to know. This one is everyone must be a member of this group, because it is our curriculum container. It's where all of our curriculum is housed for the district. So you will definitely need to join this one if you haven't already. And you'll do the exact same way. You'll go to groups and join a group and use the access code to join it. Because this one in resources tab, this is where we have everything for our curriculum. The first folder is going to be all of our district documents. You've probably seen a lot of these already, but this is what guides all of our work in Klein, from our vision to our profiles of a learner and leader, our high quality teaching document that I mentioned early. All of our guiding documents are listed in here for you to go back and look at. But down here, you've got all of our curriculum. So let's just say that I teach 3rd grade. So if I click on the 3rd grade link, okay, I teach 3rd grade math. Right in here is all of our curriculum documents. Okay, so they all have learning guides and then information on how to teach all of those information. So if you open up a learning guide, you'll see, oh, okay, so for the first 3 days, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be getting to know, here's some sample activities. The first 2 weeks of school, we're doing number sense, and then everything is hyperlinked on here for instructions and information on how to teach whatever it is you're supposed to be teaching. So every single, all the different curriculums have them in here. So even if I went back here, oh, I teach 7th grade English, they actually have the learning guides and all the units planned out and all that kind of stuff in here too. So, and they are all standard. They all look the same. So if I pull up the 7th grade ELA, it looks very, very similar to the 3rd grade math, with everything hyperlinked and all that kind of good stuff. So this is going to be a very important one, because this is going to be where you go every time you do your PLCs, your planning with your teams, your lesson planning. This is the place that you're going to go to guide all of that work. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that group? Okay, so that's a lot of information and a lot of places to look and a lot of stuff to dig into. So what we've done is we've given you the next 10 minutes to go on your own and start looking through here. And Stacy and I will be here, because once you start looking, you're probably going to come up with questions. So we want to give you about 10 minutes to look through. You can look through any of those. So if you don't have access to Schoology yet, you can go to our digital learning website. That one's available for you. So start digging in, start looking through, seeing what's available to you. And we're going to give you about 10 minutes, so about 1:35. I'll move on and do the last 10 minutes. But as you're looking, if you have any questions, just feel free to shout out at us. I was going to answer some of the questions we have coming in to the chat. So one of the question was, if we want to use these digital resources, for example, Nearpod, is our account already linked up to the client account? So we just log in. Yes, we are a single sign-on district. And Nearpod, we do have a license for that, a district license for that. So anything that we have purchased is single sign-on. So there you can actually click on Nearpod from the dashboard and it will automatically log you in. If you do click on Nearpod outside the dashboard or something like that, you can also log in with Google and just log in with your Klein Google account and it will automatically log you in as well. So that's nice. Is there a place where I can see things about me, trainings completed, etc.? Yes, we house all of that information in Eduphoria. You'll get, if you haven't gotten a training on that yet, that should be coming. It's on your dashboard. It's one of the locked places on your dashboard. And when you log in, it's going to load everything. Yep. And then in here, this is where we have all of our, that's Aware is our student data platform. That's where you'll see all of your student data for their QSEs and, you know, STAR, all that kind of stuff. This is where you will, well, you probably won't even mess with that one. Our Forethought, this is our district curriculum management and lesson planner. We used to use this, but we've moved all of that stuff over to Schoology now, so you don't really need that. And then Strive is, that's where all of your goals will be done for the year. That's where your evaluations will be kept. That's where all the trainings, your portfolio, all that kind of stuff is going to be right here housed in Eduphoria.
Here's another question, Kim, that I received. Some teachers are looking for content in their Schoology, like in the Schoology curriculum container, and they're not seeing content there. We talked about this with our last session. Some of our fine arts teachers, they don't always have content loaded in the curriculum container, unfortunately, and that's what we call this, where Kim is called, or Kim is located. Sometimes you might hear it called as the KISD curriculum container. And for our fine arts, or sometimes for like our CTE courses, they may not always have content loaded here specifically. This is still a work in progress, so all of the content is not fully supported or fully loaded yet. So if you are, you know, one of those teachers that falls in like high school theater arts or health resources.
I think world languages was missing.
Right. You will definitely want to talk to, you know, other teachers on your campus, or reach out to a department chair so they can get in touch with other teachers from other campuses, and you can start sharing content that way. Content is there, it just may not officially be loaded yet here in Schoology. So reach out to your department chair, and they will definitely know who to point you, like which direction to get resources and get access from other teachers at other campuses if needed. Let's see, we've still got a lot more messages coming in. Let's see, do you see any, Kim? Someone asked about not being able to access Schoology yet through the dashboard. And I don't remember if we said it during this session or our earlier session. Schoology is one of the last accounts that's usually generated or created and connected to our dashboard. So you may be able to log into the dashboard, you may be able to access your email through Klein ISD, but you still can't get into Schoology. Unfortunately, just with the process of how your account is generated, Schoology is always one of the last ones. I believe Skyward may be too. So you may have access to other programs, but not those yet. Just hang tight, they will come. It's an overnight update that's happening as they continue to fully load teachers into our system. So if you can't get into it yet from the dashboard, it's coming, just wait patiently, but it is a part of the single sign-on, so that will eventually appear for you.
Let's see. Quizzes, Quizlet. You don't have district license for those. So lots of campuses have purchased campus subscriptions. to those. So check with your campus. If you have, if your campus has purchased it, you can add it to your dashboard. I know I mentioned earlier, but I didn't really get a chance to show. The dashboard is completely personalizable. Is that word? For you. So like I'm on my dashboard right here. If I just click this little plus button, you can add apps. Now, I will caution that the all apps, that is everything that is allowed in this class link and not necessarily for Klein. So if you go over to the Klein approved apps, then you will have all of the stuff that you know, is paid for and all that kind of good stuff. But you can come up here and type. I don't even know if Quizlet is in this one. There is Quizlet, well, Quizlet Live. So if you cannot find the app that you're looking for, the other thing that you can do is click this little add app, and then you can create your own from a URL. And so if you have specific things that you use that are not necessarily in the district, you can still add them on here. That's how I added like our club dashboard, our club calendar, that sort of thing. I added those on here myself.
So Ashley Souza asked, oh, I think she figured it out. She was saying that she couldn't join the Schoology course code, but it's actually a Schoology group, I believe, that you were trying to join, either for the digital resources or the curriculum container. Those are both groups, but now that I see it, it looks like she figured that out.
We had another question. We noticed that there was a share lesson folder, but it has nothing in it. Will those be added also? Yes, we're in the process of collecting lessons, model lessons from teachers, and as we get those in, those will be added. It is not opened just for anybody to dump a lesson, because we want to vet them and make sure that they're actually good, standard-based, like reliable lessons. So it'll take a little bit to go through them, but eventually, yes, that's the plan, is to have the lessons there.
And then someone asked about not being able to sign into the dashboard. When you sign into the dashboard, it is not your full email address. It's actually that beginning part, the username. So in my case, my full email is salexander1@kleinisd.net. But when I sign into the dashboard or any of our resources, I'm always going to type in just salexander1. So just that beginning part before the @kleinisd.net. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to get into the dashboard or any of our resources. Don't do the full email address.
Okay, and then just the last little bit of stuff that I was going to share with you. So if you get stuck at some point in time and you need help, the first thing to do is ask your buddy, ask your friend, ask the teacher next door. You want to find your person on campus that you can go to, because not just for questions, but you're going to need somebody just to talk with and work things out with. So find a buddy on campus. Of course, your digital learning specialists are there to help you. The Schoology group that I showed you, our guide to digital resources, that is full of great information and how-tos that you can get there. We do have a place on our service desk, and I'll show you that in just a second, where we have announcements. So like, for instance, last year, I know we had a lot of issues with Schoology just crashing because of the magnitude of people that were hitting it. And so they would put announcements up there to let everybody know, yes, we are aware that we're having issues, that sort of thing. And then finally, our tech support. We do have a help desk that is awesome. The service desk is on your dashboard right here. And on there, you can request help for just about anything that you can imagine. Right here, there's just this button that says request help. And then you just fill out all of your information. It's going to ask who you are, what campus you're on, what device you're on, what are you needing help with. And then our help desk people will will route your concern to the correct department, and then they will email you. So you don't have to come back to the help desk to find out about the status or find out information about your help ticket. The rest of the ticket will be done through email, but the original will have to be done through this help desk. They do have a phone number you can call here too. If you're on campus, the extension is just for help. If you're not on campus, then this is the phone number. However, I will say that calling them is probably only going to be good if it's like, I can't even log in, so I can't get to the service desk to put in a ticket. Because if you call them and you do have access, they're going to ask you to put in a help ticket because we need that documentation. So you can call them, but really only if you can't get to the help desk to put in a ticket. And then finally, I just have a couple of resources that you can use or, use or lose. They're things that I have created because I just felt like there was a need. Once we started going to our HQT document, a lot of teachers were saying, okay, well, my goal is focused on this part of HQT. How can I address that goal? So I made this sheet a few years ago, so that when you set your goals with your admin at the beginning of the year, you're going to say, okay, well, my goal is I really want to work on creating personal pathways for my students. Well, this document can come here and you'll see all these different tools that you can use to help guide that work. What will help me with my results focused with my kids? And so there's a bunch on here that are all hyperlinked that you can use. And then right here are templates. And if you will have to get to these with your Klein ISD account. So if you are not set up with your Klein Gmail account yet, you'll have to wait because these are locked down for just inside Klein. And I'm not going to go through all these because this is like TikTok. You will be lost in it for hours because it's just a giant rabbit hole. But if you dig down into here, there are lots of digital templates that you can use for different activities with your kids. It's broken down into grade levels and subject matters. So if you're teaching science, you can dig down, and then there's templates for labeling cells and stuff. So there are literally thousands and thousands of templates in here. If you're a Jamboard user and you want to use Jamboards, there's tons of those templates in here. But again, you can grab any of these and use any of them, but I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole with you right now. You can do that on your own. So that's that one. And then the last one is my favorite Chrome extensions. You probably have a bunch that you like, but these are a bunch that I have found work really well with students and in classrooms. And then finally, the Lead Forward resources. If you're not familiar with Lead Forward, they have a fantastic playlist. If you click on their resources, and we have a cohort with Lead Forward. So when you get to their website, you can log in with your Klein ISD account credentials, and you can get into their website. And under their resources tab, under instructional tools, they have a great playlist right here. And it's all like fun, hands-on learning stuff, because let's face it, we need to get our kids back to hands-on learning. They do have a virtual playlist, but I like getting the kids active in their learning. But the great thing about their playlist is, you know what? I want them to learn from their mistakes, and I want them to play Balloon Pop. If I click on Balloon Pop, it's going to bring me to that page where it gives step-by-step instructions on how to set it up, how to do it, helpful hints, think it up, examples, that sort of thing. So when you, in all your free time, this is a great place to go and explore different ways of getting your kids to interact with your lessons. Okay. that's all the information. So that was a lot. I hope that you're not too overwhelmed, but we did want to make sure that you have the availability to go back and access all of that information. So that's all I have. We're wrapping up a little bit early. So Stacy and I are going to stay on and answer any questions that you might have. But if you don't have any questions, this top one that's highlighted right here, Stacy, will you throw that? Oh, you did. You're awesome. It's in the chat. That is, you'll need to click there and fill that out for the attendance for this session. And then other than that, you are free to go. Welcome to Klein.